Hey everybody, I am Tommy, and you are on the Love Boat. I hope you're having a hell of a day. This is, you know what, folks, I've been looking forward to this one. I'm probably not going to say hi to everybody because I want to kind of get into this. Before I do, though, I'm going to tell you a bit of a warning. So before we came to Ecuador, Johnny bought a brand new computer so the both of us could go live on a computer that was better. I have a computer, but when we first hooked it up, didn't seem to like the internet down here. So we used Johnny's computer. Right before we went live on Chase the Heat, Katy Perry put a paw in a 16-ounce glass of water and pulled it on top of the computer while we watched. It was a very difficult thing to watch as a content creator, but
New computer.
yeah, it's a new computer. So hopefully this is going to work. If for some reason it goes out, I'm terribly sorry, and we're going to be buying a new computer tomorrow if we start freezing up or whatever. But last week, I brought Will on. We started to talk to Will. I want to tell Will's entire story. Better thing would probably be I'm going to let Will tell his entire story. So we're going to bring him on. You guys remember, this is the guy that runs, by the way. He's got a really cool company that makes shirt designs and stuff. Definitely worth checking out. I will try to get someone smarter than me to put a link in the bio so that you guys can get a look at what he does. It's really, I think it's a really cool idea. And some of the stuff that he's come up with, I dig. Maybe it's because of who I am, but this cat reminds me a lot of me. Maybe a little bit, maybe a better version in a lot of ways. But he's a good dude. You guys remember Will? Let's see if I can get him on here. Look at that. The computer's still working that far. Will, how are you, my brother?
Oh, you are always so complimentary. Thank you, Tommy.
I mean it. And you haven't watched all of my interviews, man. I'm not all that complimentary with everybody. Usually I do the, hey, guess who's on? But honestly, you've done a lot to move yourself forward. You've been on the boat a long time, and it's, there's something really, thank you. I'm sorry to hear about the computer too. There's something very cool about watching somebody work on themselves. And I don't mean like lip service work on themselves, but someone that actually takes the time to figure things out. Well, will you look at that? Still handsome, I see. Well, how about that?
I guess I still am. Yeah, still got
can't
it.
Beat that. Can't beat that.
Try to hold into it as long as I can, I guess.
That's it. So last week we sort of gave an overview of why I want this man on the channel, and that's kind of what we were talking about last week. But people would like to hear the entire story. So what I will do is I will fire this up like I usually do. Why don't you take us through, since it's relative to the things that we talk about most often on the boat? Why don't you start talking about when drugs came into your life and bring us through the entire narrative? Let's talk about prison. Let's talk about everything. And hopefully I'm just going to shut up and let you do your gig. It's rare that I don't talk much, but that's what I'm shooting for.
Thank you for giving me the platform to do this. Definitely.
Oh, no way, man.
So I guess we're just going to, we're just going to jump right into it with my story and how I ended up here. Well, we're going to go back to about 2000 and we'll go about 2000. I am working at a leather shop in Arizona Mills Mall. I was a sales associate. I go to work. I feel a pain in my stomach, end up going to the hospital. My beloved mother's there by my side. She is fighting with the nurses saying he does not get upset like this. There's something wrong with him. I am tearing the bed up. They come in. They don't hesitate to get me comfortable. And then they end up finding out that my appendix was just about to be ruptured. They sent me into emergency surgery. I'm 16 at this time. And, there's a lot of blame that you can fall on, whether it was the hospital, the time that the United States was at with this pain pill epidemic that came out. And I ended up being a victim to it, whether it was by choice or out of my control. I think it was just really a little bit of both. I'm sure you can relate to our stories are semi-similar, Tommy, and I think that's what always attracted me to your channel. I always have to say what always helped me with this channel is being up at night. I got the curse of insomnia also that kind of fell with this addiction stuff. And I could get up at night and I could get on Tommy's channel and he would say things that sometimes I would just not hear in rehabs. I would not hear in even going in as a peer support specialist. There was things that I learned that I wish I knew then that I learned on the lifeboat and the love boat. So I get out and not knowing I left the hospital as I was severely hooked to these. They made me feel a sense of confidence. They also took away natural kind of pain that I had. I was a kid that was into BMX sports, just, dirt bike riding. I put my body through definitely, just what boys do, teenagers do, but I had some injuries underneath me and I just kind of liked how really they work. And it's nothing really too of a strange story. I end up working all these jobs, you exhaust all your resources, and then I find myself at a day labor place with not so, adequate gentlemen that actually turn me on to then you go to the harder stuff and you end up going to the tar. And living that sort of lifestyle at that point was almost just a 24-hour badgering.
Right.
And you kind of like hope that sometimes that there will be an outside source that will come stop it. You kind of really don't hope. I mean, usually that's prison, to rehab, something like that. But usually something, of course, for some people that need to have such an extreme approach, prison was kind of in my cards.
Yeah.
So, it was a back.
Let me stop you for 1 sec, though. More often, normally by the time we get to that phase, we blew off a lot of other things. I mean, I don't know how it was in Arizona, but, I remember somebody saying to me, you just don't seem like the kind of guy that would end up in prison. I was the kind of guy that blew off every single chance that they ever gave me. I mean, there was probably a couple of rehabs and a couple of attempts before. I mean, the first couple of times you get arrested, unless you do something really hard to the pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was, I was someone that was kind of, in and out. I did get in trouble at 15 years old. I was talked into walking in with a check that wasn't mine. And it was,
Feds at 15.
Already, you know what I mean? Needless to say, that took my high school career into something that was definitely very interesting. I guess if we want to sit here and hear a funny story, I got a story for you guys. So I'm going to detention. I'm 16 years old. I have to report there right after school. I go and I smoke some weed. I get back into the detention. This lady, Constance, we'll call her. Constance has a complete I'm on her radar. I've been on her radar ever since number one. And she is the teacher of the detention. Now she comes up to me. I'm sitting next to my friend Chuck. Now Chuck, God rest his soul, he lived in detention. I mean, this was his home. So he's right next to me. Miss Constance sees that. I see that you have a aroma coming to you. Your eyes seem very hinting towards, we know you've smoked. And she goes, I need to do something about this, Mr. Elias. And I'm, of course, my friend butts in, is like, what do you mean? Like, you have to do something about this. She goes, I need to call security. She gets up, she walks over to the phone. My friend Chuck looks at me. He says, do you have anything on you? I said, of course I do. He says, you need to run. And I'm like, really? I'm in detention. I pick up my bag, get up, start walking. She gets on the phone. He's running. Hit that back door. Now I'm running. I'm pretty fast and I still got my health to me. As track at Marcos Deniza is running, I come and meet them with backpack and jeans on, racing with them. I break the party, jump over the fence. Now, this was my kind of slick to get out of this. I had a very kind and loving mother that I called. And I thought of this while running. I said, you call them and you tell that school that I was scared to be searched because there's so many kids saying that they're being searched and it's not appropriate touching going on. I need you to tell them that.
Good Lord.
She's like, I don't think I can do that, but I'm going to call and see what's going on. So, of course, being the loving mother she did, she worked it out for me. And she says, yeah, you can't go back to school for another 10 days. And I'm like, even if I want to, I don't have to go to school. She's like, well, yeah. Yeah. So that was where my radar was hit. And it seemed like a lot of things that you were getting away with wasn't happening anymore. I took that detention. I went back. Needless to say, they funneled me out of the school and 9/11 hits. And I'm at a charter school. And my mom comes in and I get on the news and I watch it. And I was really heavily affected by what I saw. And I took that course and I took this was the first time that I quit smoking weed. I ended up getting some tutoring going on with a family member that helped me get the ASVAB, get all my waivers going. And I'm sitting at a job. I end up taking the test and I was a really bad test taker at the time. I've always been. I mean, I've always relatively never thought of myself as a not intelligent person, but when I take a test, I just bomb them.
Yeah, book smarts.
Yeah, it's a little rough. So when I went in, I scored just like 2 points from getting into just an infantry job. That's all I wanted. My whole mission in life was to have the government take me, give me a job. I will give you my 20-year service. And when I am done, I can retire at 40. And I'm 40 now. So I figured ultimately by now I would be on a retirement pension by now, and a lot of cool stories, you know, and unfortunately I got some cool stories, but that wasn't the road for me.
Right.
I ended up, you know, being really upset with the score that I got. It ended up traveling into me ultimately being at a bar and getting into a fist fight with several people. It just ended up just becoming a downhill spiral from there. I left that charter school and I ended up going into an online school called Primavera. And I got my high school diploma. I didn't have to get my GED. And I ended up just kind of floating from job to job by that point. Like I said, I was a jack of all trades and just really a master and nothing at that point.
Well, and you also have a record that makes it hard to get hired, right? I mean, at that point, I've been down that road. Once you got a few felonies on your record, you know, it gets a little tough, especially if one of them was passing checks. I mean, that's, you know, it falls into that whole category of this guy's going to rip me off if I hire him. It's like trying to hire a bank robbery or a bank robber.
Yeah,
or doing that.
it was in the juvenile sense, so that was at least sealed by that point. But
Oh,
you know,
straight.
but going through all that time, you know, it was just kind of moving around, and it was, yeah, I get that a lot. I am 40. So, yeah, I'm kind of moving around, and I get an apartment, and this is we're going to say I'm about 24 at this point. And this is where another story gets it gets heavy. This is a heavy incarceration story, but it's something I feel once we're on this topic, it's something that for you guys to understand my story, I have to be real and I have to be raw with you guys. So, you know, I don't really want to be here and hold back. And
Don't.
this was a story that like takes the cake, you know. I'm in this apartment in Mesa, Arizona, about 24 years old. I'm in the methadone clinic. I'm trying to get myself, you know, kind of worked out, but it's not happening. I mean, at this point, I kind of had the outlook of like, I'm probably just going to be like fading away soon. I'm with this girl and she's with this guy in the neighborhood, and they're talking in this apartment. At this time, it was very important that I wasn't by myself. I didn't want to be alone. And but they were driving me nuts because they were on a bunch of uppers and I'm not an upper guy and I needed a break from that. So I ended up leaving. I walk down to the street, I go to the liquor store. And I make it home, and as I'm walking in, I think you know this story. As I'm walking in, I see this guy leave my apartment, and he has his shirt off. And he gives me one of these, like, putting his shirt off, looks at me and gives me one of these, like, I'm like, oh,
What the deuce just happened?
I already knew. I walked in, you know, she's already half dressed. She's just not coherent. I'm trying to find out what she's doing. She's not giving me a right answer. I said, well, I'm going to go ask this guy. All of a sudden she sobers up, gets up, runs to the front door, blocks herself. I'm like, look, I'm going to get these answers. You're going to need to move. She ended up moving, ended up going, confronting the guy. It was a melee of just fighting because his girlfriend didn't believe my story. He started fighting me. She was coming at me. It's a whole whirlwind of things. I get away from them. I go back to the apartment. Her and I are fighting, and it gets bad. It gets bad. Next thing I know, I am found being carried out by police because I was barricaded into my house. They hogtied me and threw me in the back of the car. Just enough time for my cousin that was on her way to come pick me up because I was supposed to be at my grandfather's funeral the day before. So I not only have let down my mother, my cousin that I've never seen before that I look up to that's now not with us anymore. She's there seeing me. Mind you, I'm not even sitting. I'm hogtied in the back looking up at her. And I'm still in the delirious, like, is there any way you can get me out of this? And I remember she looked at me and she was like, honey, I can't get you out of this.
So you were drinking on methadone?
Oh no, well, I was drinking on benzos and methadone, and
Nothing
probably
like 3 respiratory depressants at the same time. You're lucky you're
sure.
alive. God
Thank you,
bless it.
thank
Yep.
you. Right. So I go to the beautiful Fourth Ave, and now at this time, this is high. There's a high case going on, so movement's very slow. Now, in the beginning,
Was that Casey Anthony, out of curiosity?
it was before Casey Anthony. I think this was baseline shooter around that
Okay,
time.
good. That'll work.
Yeah, actually, it was around that time. So this is baseline shooter time. So if that gives you kind of a scope of what the time frame is, because you know how some of us are, like time, it's really hard. Time is really blended in to each other, and it's just very like when they say what year was that, I'm really like, I don't know, maybe 09, and it was really 04. Like, so, I was under the impression when I was in there that my bond was $6,000. Well, it wasn't. And I had to get a black dude to use his three-way to find out that my bond is not 6,000, it's 36,000, and I'm not getting out. My mom says, you are stuck and we can't get you out, and you're missing the funeral. You gotta deal, Will. You gotta deal. And I did the worst thing you could possibly do in county jail. I slammed the phone, then I ripped it out of the wall.
Oh, wow.
See, that was bad because I owed a three-way to the guy that gave me the three-way.
Sure.
And there's no possible way that I'm going to have my mother do a three-way for this guy during this time that's happened. So I get my first beat up in jail. Naturally, when they popped the doors, I was against the door. I fell out like this. The freaking DO was like, oh my God. So they dragged me out. This is where it gets worse. Believe it or not, it gets worse. He puts me in a cell by myself, and I get this sergeant that comes in, and he's like, Mr. Elias, what's going on with you? And I give him the whole rundown of what happened. And he's like, whoa. I just got one question for you. Do you want to like hurt yourself at all?
Oh no, he baited you.
He did. He did. So I took the bait, and I
Bring
said,
on the Barney Rubble suit.
I said, my God, dude, like, yeah, I mean, at this point, I don't want to be here anymore. And he was like, perfect. And he leaves.
I got a room for you.
I'm waiting there, and I'm like, what does he mean by that? And he comes back with 2-3 other guys, and he is saying, you need to take your clothes off.
Yeah,
and
been there, done that.
And then all of a sudden, everything comes to me, what I just did. What did I just do? What did I say? There's no coming back from it because I already said it. I told him, no, that's not going to work. And he's like, well, we're going to get your clothes off whether you like it or not, Mr. Elias. Yeah. And I, of course, still thought that I had some, fight in me. And I told him, I'd like to see you try. And
they succeeded.
He did. He stepped back, took the taser, and just, I was dropped. I was carried. That was probably at that time, like when we shared that first conversation with you, like those lonely, dark places that you don't think that you're ever going to leave. Your family can't get you. They can't touch you. They can't save you. Your friends can't save you.
There's no phone. There's no nothing. You can't
There's
talk
nothing.
to. You're wearing a dress.
And that point, like, I didn't even have that. I got the dress, I think, like 2 days later. I was in there for 72 hours. By that point, I have a black eye because I've already been beat up. I already got the taser marks. I'm already like gone through that. And then
this is we're 19 minutes in. They put them on suicide watch. I can say that 19 minutes in, they'll, it's and that process, I've talked about this on the boat before. It's the exact same thing happened to me. They came in and said, you need to put this on. I went, there are not enough guards in the BOP to get me to put that on. And the guy went, trust me, there are. And I did the same thing. I think I went 6 days before I put it on. I stood in there naked and did interviews and all that. I'm like, I'm not putting that on. I'm not suicidal. I'm not putting that on.
So finally 72 hours pulls me, and the doctor comes and sees me. She's like, are you all right? And I'm like, oh, I'm good. And she goes, you ever gonna say something like that ever again? And I was like, no. Oh no, I'm very happy to be here, and you won't have any problems for me. And she goes, good. Right. Well, we're going to put you in GP. We're going to get you some regular clothes. That sounds great. I'm not saying anything after that question. So I made it to the pod with a black eye. And as you know, I look suspect because
and you're coming in from suicide watch. Everybody knows where you're coming from. You got a black eye. Right. It's the worst possible case scenario for an intake. It's just awful.
So nobody's talking to me. And I'm just like, And out of nowhere, this is where always like sometimes though the angels come
Right.
and they
No
come
question.
find you. All of a sudden, Mr. Elias, roll out. You are out on a scratch case. They scratched my charge.
No way.
Which means, if any of you guys don't know, on a scratch case in Arizona means that the prosecutor had a certain amount of time to pick up the charges. Now, he didn't have, I guess his caseload was full or whatever it may be. They're going to let you out, but they're going to give prosecutor enough time to research the paperwork, see if he has a case, press his charges on you.
30 days usually.
Well, I was released. I don't have an address at this point. So wherever they send that to, I don't know. 6 months later, they come find me. I'm living in downtown Chandler at this time, not in an ideal place at all. I was not planning on going back to jail that day. I go back. I end up getting IPS for the first time. And 30 days in jail, that was my first now like kind of long stint, like because it was always just a week, 2 probation. Now I'm doing a whole like 30. So, okay. That was a lot, Tommy. That was a lot. IPS was a lot. I ended up having that played down, and the felony actually turned into just like a misdemeanor assault. So by the grace of God, that ended up working out. We are getting off probation, and what do? I decide, you know what? I'm gonna go back to college. I'm gonna go back to college, and I'm gonna start making something of myself. And I went to school. I loved psychology. I loved philosophy. I loved, just all the history, Greek mythology, all that stuff. I just loved it, and I did really well. I passed. Where I didn't graduate yet, but I'm going back. I'm going back this year, and I'm going to finish it. I believe I'm about 4 credits shy of getting my associates, general studies. From there, I'm still now deciding talking with the right people that I have in my life. I got, I bounce stuff off of almost every day. I got my mom. That's a good person in my life. Jess is back in my life, and she's really working wonders too. She was in the last show, a girlfriend of mine, but her and I have now came together and come to like some really good understanding. We're in a really good place. Shout out to her.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you. And they're really building my spirits up and just showing me like, hey, this path that you were on right now, this guy that you
Wagsy, have a good night. Sorry. Wagsy, have a good night. Thank you for stopping by. I have a question real quick. So I think this is important too, because this happens a lot. I've been doing this now for closing in on 5 years working with people. And I can't tell you the number of times I talk to somebody and they go, my guy's gone. I'm never going to talk to him again. My girl's gone. I'm never going to talk to him again. And you just, I do this a lot. Never is probably a word I should get out of my vocabulary, because none of us, we never know what the future is going to hold. And I think I remember telling you that once. I said, man, hang out, see what happens. If you show people that you're changing, it's amazing what can happen to you. Proud of you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Good. I'm sorry. I didn't to interrupt you. Go ahead. So I believe we just left with you dodging another bullet. And now you're in college.
So I'm in college now. I'm doing good. I'm getting good. And, once again, I start dating this girl, and then everything decides that thing that happens that a lot of us addicts like to do is find that reason. Thank you. Finding that reason to burn the bridge that you built. We seem to like to do that. Excuse me. And at that time, I was under the impression that my dad was in the hospital and he wasn't going to make it. I didn't think he was going to make it. Evidently he did, and he does, and he's fine now, and he's probably going to outlive me, I'm sure. I really just kind of used that, and I wasn't able to pull myself out. And now I'm dating this girl, Lauren, and we're living back at my dad's. We have our 4 cats. We've been kicked out of the apartment. I end up leaving, and this is the night that I go to prison. This is the one that the defining part of my life, where now, if you survive this, you're either, the road you're going to go down, or you're going to be able to get a chance to make a change, but you have to survive prison. And that one was tough for me. Now this story. So how I get there, I am at my dad's. Lauren, God bless her, she ended up passing away when I was in prison. I'll get to that story. She was driving me nuts. My dad was driving me nuts. And I needed to leave. And I left for the night. I got to a friend's house that lived by the methadone clinic that I was at. Methadone clinic pops up all through my story. I've been through that since I've been about 27. So I've been going on and off through the clinic for about 14 years. That could probably be a whole show in itself.
You get up really early.
Yeah, and not a problem for somebody who doesn't really sleep. So you're there at 4:30. You're there at 4:30 in the morning. Like,
been there, done that.
So I can get some sleep. Yeah, right. It's not the best. I suggest if you can dodge that and go to Suboxone, go that route. Vivitrol is probably your best option as far as just get that shot. You only have to do it once a month, and you're okay. There's different treatments, whatever you feel. And this is what I loved about your channel, Tommy, is you never condemn the people that, hey, maybe I need to just smoke, but if you're not doing X, Y, and Z, and you're just doing this to, what did you call it? Harm reduction?
Harm reduction, yeah.
That's always what I always preached when I was doing BHT. I wasn't asking for miracles. I think kind of sometimes in the 12 step, that's a little kind of expected of you, especially if you got these real heavy sponsors that kind of have unrealistic expectations for people that only have like a day.
Right.
So,
well, and it's the fastest way in the world to scare away somebody, especially, every addiction is different. If a guy's a weed smoker, we're looking at something different. But if a person has an addiction that makes them sick when they don't use it, and they walk in and you go, you need to quit tomorrow. I mean, it's like the cartoons. You just see the puff of smoke and they're gone so fast. I mean, and they'll usually drop an FU on the way out the door. That's a terrifying thing. And if you haven't survived being dope sick, right, Malia, so for me, when I started my channel, I hated the concept. I used to come on and go, the harm reduction people are idiots. And then I started working with people.
Really?
You're a guy that says, I do 2/5 a day. That's 64 shots of hard liquor. And you're going to tell this guy, all right, you need to quit. I mean,
right.
This is not something they can wrap their brain around. And I remember the first time, and I just thought, well, nothing else is working. The guy's been on the channel 3 years. Like, he's not making any progress. And I just said, man, could you knock 6 shots a day off? Like, would that kill you? Could we get down to maybe 1/5? And today that guy drinks a quart of beer a day. That's 32 ounces of beer after 2/5. I'll tell you something. I don't know. I think that's a success. Now, other people will go, he's not sober. No, he's not drinking 64 shots of hard booze a day. And I believe wholeheartedly he might be, he's a lurker. He doesn't do a lot of commenting, but I believe he'll be off of it completely within a year or two. I think harm reduction is a better model, but I'll catch some hell for that tonight.
I mean, I think so too, because I'm a testament to that model. I'm a testament to, to the Love Boat and how much this has played such a positive part in my life. You know what I mean? And just hearing your voice sometimes at times where like I couldn't sleep and I could just watch a channel and I could see just on the early days when you were just set up and you were just talking about really real stuff that really hit me, to my core. Absolutely. And I always hoped that this day you and I would always kind of get together and I could show my appreciation towards you. And it's always never ending, of course.
Well, there wouldn't be a Love Boat. I'm telling you the truth. The channel would have died without you. I'm not. That's from the bottom of my heart. In the absolute lowest days. Good night, Taylor. In the absolute lowest days of the boat, you left a comment that I had said to my brother. I'm like, I'm gonna go delete this freaking channel. Like I was at the end of my rope, and there was just a comment that just came at the perfect time, and I was like, maybe I won't do it today. And here we are. So. And there's a lot of people over the years have done that, but you really did it at probably my lowest point when I just did not want to be a YouTuber anymore. So it was a blessing that you found the boat for all parties involved. It really was.
Right. So like your story, too, like when your criminal career goes, it doesn't just start with you bank robbing. It started, with little aspects. I didn't go to that extreme. I always kind of tried to keep the working side and then any little kind of hustles in between I could do, I would. My thing was more or less like getting into cars. So that was what I was good at. Yeah. So the day I left when Lauren was driving me nuts and I ended up to prison, I ended up getting into this car. I get a credit card. There was a backpack with some mail inside of it. And I ended up, so I ended up actually going to, kind of my roots of the first start that didn't work out. I'm, clearly it's not going to work out again. I went into the store, tried to do use one card to get a gift card so I can then toss this card and I can have these gift cards that are not hot with someone else's name. I think the cashier, honestly, I either thought it was the cashier that called, but I ended up finding out it was the actual house that I got broke into the car. They had a camera outside. They ended up having an APB out on me. So when I walked out of the Safeway, I already walked out and the police drove right by. Gets out, goes, you. I'm like this. He already runs up to me. He pretty much talks to me, runs my name, searches me. He was about to let me go, actually, because I talked my way out of pretty much everything. And he goes, what is this mail? Who is this? He cross-referenced the mail that I had on me to the person that ended up phoning it in. Stuck. I'm done. I am off to 4th Ave. I end up going to sleep and I wake up the next day. I end up calling, my girlfriend at the time, Lauren, was very on top of it, like just coordinating with my lawyers, all this other stuff, like she was kind of like a little bit at the time, a lifeline. And my mom, you got to love moms. Good moms are just such a, I can know she is the unsung hero to my story always. You know what I mean? Because she did something for me when I was locked up that nobody else could ever do. And she's just like an amazing person for that. Make a long story short, I ended up fighting the case. I didn't get a good lawyer. I had a public defender. I mean, she did what she could, but like I ended up signing for 1.5 years at the OC. I already served 4 months, so I was going to get a little under a year. And I ended up going to prison. I started off on a 2-yard. Mind you, nothing came easy for me because I'm on methadone and they prescribe that to you while you are still in county and they want to get you off at the time you go to prison. Right. I was at such a high dose that I still had some to.
How high were you, out of curiosity?
When I got there, I was 165 and when I left, I was at 30.
Okay.
So I'm now at 30. I'm at a newbie. I'm already at a newbie number, but I'm still on it. So they can't just take me off. So when I tell the story, people don't believe it, but I'm at Alhambra in Arizona. That's the transport where they shoot you off to wherever they're going to shoot you off. And it's classifications. So
fish tank.
Right. And I'm stuck in with 16 guys. I haven't been dosing like a freaking day. They take me out of the compound in a van with 2 other armed guards to an outside clinic. In the morning, I walk in, a nurse sees me in orange jumpsuit, 4-pointed, walking in with 2 other guards, one behind me, and they're like, he needs to do his intake. She's like, his intake? They literally sat me down and was like, what is your goal for the next 6 months? And I'm just like,
survival.
Prison. That's a prison. That's my goal. So the problem was this was a Friday. Now, Saturdays are a little different. You have to get there and get your take home for Sunday, but they're only open for about 2 hours. Now, Alhambra didn't know this. So when we get transported on Saturday to get my Sunday's dose, and I'm looking forward to this because it's a relief for me. I can go to sleep.
No pain.
It's freaking gold in there. You know what I mean? Just to be on it, it was just like I was in luxury, I felt like. They get me there late and the clinic is closed. They say you're burnt. Well, I take it all.
1 second, just so that everybody here gets this. This is the most bizarre story any of you have ever heard. You just don't know that. To take an inmate someplace where you can predict where he's going to be is unheard of, because it's easy to say to your friends, these guys are going to take me to the methadone clinic, be in the parking lot. When we get out, baseball bat a couple of these guys. They will never take somebody someplace. Like they might take you to a hospital, but you'll have no idea when you're going. A methadone clinic has a window. A person could park in front of the methadone clinic and wait for you to show up. It's one of the most bizarre stories I've ever heard from a jail. It really is. That's just crazy.
It was crazy. So they get me back on a Saturday, and I'm kind of a guy that can kind of get his voice heard if he needs to. Like I can run up the rank pretty easy. Right. And I got all the way up to maybe like a captain, and they get me in. They're like, we're going to make you comfortable and you're going to be okay. I'm like, comfortable? What do you mean by comfortable? I doubt you're going to make me comfortable. I was very upset and they didn't care. But there's guys that I was with that were waiting to get transport for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a week. I'm there 3 days. That Sunday, I had that problem Saturday. That Sunday, they got my own van for me, put me in my own van, and sent me to Tucson. And now I land in a little place called Catalina. I didn't think that, honestly, that was a 2-yard. Little did I find out that's a hideout little snitch yard, but I didn't know that at the time. So I land there. My points are really low. I'm there for
just long enough to hurt your reputation.
Yeah. Oh yeah, right. So I land there and I'm the only one there, already suspect. They're like, where did you come from? I'm like, Alhambra. They're like, just you? I'm like, yeah, just me. And I tell them this, story about the whole clinic thing. And they're just like, we haven't heard this one. So they've just let me slide. I was at Catalina long enough to get my fish kit. And it was a nice fish kit. Actually, the white boys put one really nicely together for me to then get transported over to Whetstone. Now, Whetstone is a 2-yard. It is a working yard, but it is massive. We're talking 12, I don't know, like 800 people to one airplane hangar. This is dorms.
Right.
And I get there, and now I'm transported once again by myself in the middle of the night. Well, not in the middle of the night. We're talking about 8:30. So I show up at 8:30, into my dorm.
Instead of 4:30 when everybody else shows up at a yard. So now you're coming in late, right? You're coming in. Oh, nothing good.
So I get rushed. Who are you? Paperwork. What's this? What's that? I already knew what paperwork. I'm fine. Here I am. I'm here for, I ended up pleading to identity theft. That's why I didn't get federal. I ended up going to state because I pled to identity theft opposed to theft of mail.
God watched you, Holmes.
Really, when we were talking, you were saying that was like a God shot right there. I never knew really how. I kind of heard, but okay. So I'm at Whetstone. They rapid detox me off this medication. I'm just doing my thing. You know what I mean? Oh, I also get on a disciplinary because I basically said F you to a guard.
Good.
Yeah, that ticket followed me from Alhambra to Whetstone 2 months later. So I get on disciplinary. Now my store is closed up. I already have
can't pay your bills.
I've been moving and shaking, you know what I mean, on the yard. I'm not going hungry. Let's just say I have excellent gold card credit on the yard. Right. I'm perfect. Well, at night, they have you go to the center, which is like a cube, and the one guard that's supposed to watch 1,200 people is sitting in the middle, and you go and you sign for your medication. Now, this is where things start getting real sticky for me. I go up and I sign for my medication. The person goes, oh, you're Elias? I said, yeah, I'm Elias. And they go, you're being 1 for 1 back to Catalina. See, they would switch people from Catalina to Whetstone to Catalina, and just go back and forth for whatever reason.
Is it diesel therapy, or are they screwing up with your, are they just pissed at you because you cursed at a cop? Why are they shuttling you?
No. What this was is basically they 1 for 1 me because the medication I was on at Catalina, they couldn't give it to me. So Whetstone
non-formulary.
Whetstone was a bigger yard, had a bigger medical facility that they could treat that. So that's why I went over there. Now I ran out of that. They only had me on that for like 3 days and I was done. So after a week goes by, they go, hey, you're being 1 for 1. It was all at random, honestly. And it just, for some reason, my ticket punched. Now
walking out on a tab. Did you owe a few dollars?
Yeah, I owed a couple. I owed a couple vending machines, let's just say. So I walk up and, I'm sorry at this point, like back then, like I felt bad, but you know what? Like at this point, like I'm not getting beat up for vending machine food. This is all a huge, ridiculous freaking outlook on things. Like how am I really
3 for 1s?
3 for 1, 2 for 1s, 3 for 5, but
ugly.
Yeah. So I go up and I'm like, hey, here to sign my medication. And they're like, yeah, you're being 1 for 1. And I'm like, listen, because it just happened the day before someone was 1 for 1. This dude only owed like $7.
They beat the bark off him before he got to the door.
No, they kind of rushed him and we kind of like paid the tab for him and he left because it was so low. Right. Now, mind you, I got it. So I go, look, dude, like, he goes, he already knew. He already knew, and he kind of gave me a pass where I of course would just turn around and deal with my issue. I wasn't going to PC up. That wasn't my issue. But you're moving me. You guys put me in this uncomfortable position. I'm fine here. I'm taking care of all my bills. But now you're making me look like I gotta.
Hey, boss, can you go roll up my stuff for me?
Yeah. Basically, I pretty much was like, and he goes, just walk out back. I just hit the door. It was so
God
funny.
was in your back pocket, bro. You're
When I walked outside, I remember because there's always one guy by the door. And when I walk outside, I'm the only guy that's like 10 o'clock at night. You know what I mean? Nobody should be walking outside right now. I walk outside, I slip right out of that freaking yard. And I remember when the door was open as I'm walking out, the guy goes, "What the hell?" And it just closed. And that was it for me. That was it for me at Whetstone. I go back to Catalina. Same thing kind of happens, but it wasn't that big of an issue. But here's a problem: is I stored out business through a black guy. This black guy wasn't too happy at the time that in that moment I couldn't pay it because, mind you, I have store out. I'm storing things out too.
Right.
Well, people have outside jobs and people haven't gotten their store yet. So they have to, this is commissary. This is stuff you order on Canteen, just in case nobody knows.
Pretty typical stuff. Guys, the inside prison is a nonstop taking from Peter to pay Paul.
It's a trade fest of everything. Yeah. It's like it's a swap meet for vending machine food.
Yeah, exactly.
That you could lose your life for a honey bun, by the way.
True story.
And top ramen, and it's happening.
Especially a monster honey bun.
But I'm also, kind of throughout prison, you're getting tested. I'm not a person that wants to fight. I will fight. I have fought. Don't want to fight. But if I have to, I can. But there's kind of like, I'm kind of getting pushed a lot into a point to where I'm kind of noticing I'm going to have to kind of like start to bark. But I don't bark well. When I start barking, it just gets over like bad. So this black dude, we'll call him New York. New York comes and he needs his store, and he needs his store right now. And I'm like, listen, you're going to have to wait until 6. I got you. I'll pay you. I got you. But you're going to have to wait, dude. Don't got it. Sorry. You know what I mean? And he says something basically threatening my life.
Let's catch your fade.
I just said bathroom. I didn't go sanction it with the people. I didn't go tell my head, hey, go talk to his head, go work this out. I called him, said bathroom. Number one, wrong move.
Big time.
Go into the
race
bathroom.
Riots. Start that
I'm
way.
ready. I'm ready. I'm coming in. He comes in, locking the sock, swinging, dink, bam, catch it right here. He goes for another swing, and when I grab it, it wraps around my arm. And when I take it from him, and I throw it out into the run. So now there's no weapons in our area. He bites my arm. I still have a bite mark to this day from it. I'm headbutting it. It's a disaster. They ended up coming in, pulling us all apart. They throw me in the shower. I can't help to think, like, I'm in my boxers and I'm leaking, and I'm water's being thrown on me. And God love it, this Chicano Cheeto. I hate using that word, but he, you know what I mean?
No, I know. Yeah, you're good.
He comes and brings me fresh folded like clothes and like hands them to me as I'm getting out of the shower. And of course now everybody's looking at me like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, just like, thank you. I put them on, try to act like nothing's wrong. All of a sudden the yard gets shut down. It's me. It's me. They're coming for me. I'm sitting on my bunk. I'm now like just trying to like, I have a towel on my head and I'm just laying down. Guard comes right to my bunk. I have a cube too, by the way.
Yeah.
You out. Pulls me, pulls the guy in New York out. Now we're in disciplinary. He's outside the room. I'm inside the room. He's like, what happened? I'm like, nothing happened. I told him nothing happened. I don't have anything to say. He's like, all right, gets both of our stories. And I think that I'm going to be maybe just transferred to this. It was called, I think, Fort Myers or something, Fort something, which had like a tomato field and had like a really nice yard and good jobs. And I thought maybe I would go there. And the CO is like, you're not going no 2-yard. You're getting bumped up, dude. You
got custody change now, brother.
I said,
now you're a convict.
I said, what is that? I still am oblivious to what, like I said, when I was doing time, my head was in such a a drone auto. Like I wasn't you lose your individual there. You don't.
Oh, absolutely.
I didn't look at myself as a person. I felt like I was just like
It's another convict.
Just another, nothing special about me. Nobody, just nothing. So I get to Rincon, which is a 3-yard. That's the disciplinary yard. And this is where things like, you see like shot collar and stuff like that. It has a similar feel to it. So I show up. MS-13 this is rec, and this is in the middle of the night. Now the COs have ski masks on.
Yeah, totally different.
Their identity. And I sit.
A lot of rules you don't know about.
I guess this jail was like made in like the early 1900s. Like, I mean, just something like old. Needless to say, I get moved from Rincon. I go to Cimarron, still in disciplinary. And this is where then now my world gets even worse because I get a call that I have a visit. Well, I'm on disciplinary. I don't know how I'm getting a visit necessarily.
Oh, the worst. Black eyes and cuts.
Somehow it worked out. The girl I was dating, Lauren, at the time, she ended up passing away. Very on an overdose. It was very bad. My mom was able to come see me. Now she hasn't seen me, heard from me in about 2 months. And that's not like we talk every day.
At least you look good.
Yeah. Oh, Lisa, because they were hiding their identity from
gangs.
The gangs. They would put hits out on the COs. It just shows you the higher level that I went to. This is not a camp anymore. This is something that's like
a lot of shoe cops wear masks because there's nothing you can do to get at them. It's not like a unit. So you get really pissed and you start writing to people. So no name tags. They wear balaclavas. There are a lot of yards like that. It's terrifying.
So I sit at Cimarron. I get to Cimarron and I'm still in disciplinary. Needless to say, my mom comes and visits me and she says, she tells me that she passed away. I take it really hard and I am now locked away for about a month now, still in disciplinary. I had a CO3 that ended up saving me. She ended up working out to where I could do my mandate and ended up getting me, because mind you, I'm coming to the end. I'm coming to the end of my bid and I'm almost going to be getting out, but I could still be shot off to a yard. And by this point with the fight, I didn't know how everything's going to be looking. I didn't know I didn't know what my fate was going to be. I didn't even know I may have 6 months. I may have another 3 months, but I don't know what's going to be going on. I ended up doing my mandate. I ended up passing it in the most dire, heinous situation. It was the most stressful. To do your SAT test, picture your SAT test in school in a loud, stressful, gymnasium, chaotic environment.
Yeah.
I ended up passing it, and I ended up getting the notification that I am going to be released. And I'm going to be released back out in 10 days. Mr. Elias, you've
short timing.
And you are out. Well, that's what I thought, because I only made it 9 days and now 11 days and I was back.
Oh, that is so sad.
11 days. That might be a show for show 3, ladies and gentlemen. Because
we're not going to get through your whole story in this one.
I think we're getting to about the hour, but I mean, maybe the last 5 minutes. Do you have any questions for me, Tommy? I know I kind of.
You know what? Here's the thing. First of all, I want to say a couple of things. And there was a question that popped up. I started. Why do the other inmates know your business when you get there? Do the cops just gossip about everybody? Yes and no.
Yes.
We have what we used to call in the feds, they call it something different in the state, but we used to call it inmate.com. There is a way that it's very easy to get information from one prison to another. A lot of times they're small little pieces of paper rolled up and hooped. But more often what happens is, let's say you have a job in the kitchen and you've been working there for 4 years. The cop that you work for works with you 50 hours a week. Right, you're in there with him every single day. He sneaks you cigarettes, you hang out, you talk about stuff, and you'll go, "Hey, man, a guy named just came in named Elias. What can you tell me about him?" And the cops usually give you this kind of speech: "Look, man, I'll let you look at this, but if there's anything on this that bums you out, you're not allowed to hit this guy because it's going to come back on me." And you go, "No, I wouldn't do that." And you're not lying. You're going to get someone else to do it.
A lot of times too, they have cell phones. So what they do is they'll call out and they'll talk to. They want to get one of their girlfriends, and their girlfriends will get online. It's usually Pacer. Wasn't Pacer a big one? Yeah.
Pacer's the big one for the feds. The feds is because the other ones are available in the state. But the only one that you can look up federal stuff on was Pacer. But
Okay.
in the feds, there are cell phones, but it is nothing like the state.
But
It's really
no,
rare. It's really rare. They have
I heard that
machines that they walk up and down the
Yeah,
tier. Yeah.
just about to say
And they'll
that.
bust
And
you the first day you use it, man. The first day you use it. And it is hello, Reese. It is a 4-year sentence added to you. They call it an escape tool.
Escape charge. I was like, this is an escape. I remember
Yeah.
calling that first call out to my mom. I was like, are you sure you're supposed to be doing this? I'm like, well, just letting you know I'm okay. Yeah, just letting you know I'm okay. But again, truly, whoever stopped by and just took the time to listen to my story, really, I guess what's ultimately making me do this is if, like Tommy's story, ultimately I can say without a doubt, save me. Again, if my story, if somebody can relate to it and it can maybe steer somebody else to go through, and I can be a testament to that, this is, a chance to show that I at least existed, and I was out here to be a testament, to try to be a vision and a symbol for good now, and not trying to live just a life of chaos, because honestly, it's not one that will end up serving you well in the end, my friends.
You know what, too? A couple of things, because I'll tell you what jumped off the paper more than anything. When I'm not trying to sound like a jerk, but the number of people that have come to me and said, "Hey, man, I want to do a channel. I want to get this thing started," and I don't work with people. I mean, it's not something that I do very often. The reason that you jumped out at me, if you talk to anybody that's been to prison, right, 99 out of 100 people are never going to say to you, yeah, you know what? I didn't get the better of this guy in that fight, right? No one's going to say, I went into a unit and man, it just went bad. Let me tell you the story. Usually they're a shot caller. They just lie. It's like watching Wes Watson on YouTube. You know what I mean? These guys get off of a low yard and say that they were in lockdown. They say they were in California. They got transsegged to a different state because they were in trouble. The honesty that came through when we first started talking with one another kind of blew me away. And I think that guys like us often get to a point where one of two things is going to happen, right? We come to the realization that, and we're deep into this, so I hope, but we pissed away the first half of our life. And that realization starts to eat at your soul in a way that is hard to explain. And your options are, you can just keep feeling like that for the rest of your life, or you can go, that's not a bad resume builder if what I'm going to try to do is help people, right? Like all of the crap that I've gone through may actually be a benefit if I can articulate it, and I can give people a chance to ask questions of what happened to me and maybe avoid some of the pitfalls, especially because, no disrespect to anybody that's in the game, but whether it's fair or not, and I don't believe it's fair, but I went to so many rehabs and someone would say, yes, I know that the withdrawal process and the cravings, and you go, wait, what dope did you do? Like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but you're telling me, tell me about the times that you woke up vomiting on yourself because you needed a fix. And I will sit down and have a conversation with you. And it's not fair, but junkies do it because we don't want to be there anyway. So our go-to is, if you haven't been where I am, I'm not talking to you. And it's a benefit to be able to go, oh, I'll tell you about those times. You want to hear about dope sick? I can out dope sick you, I promise. And I'll tell you something, having them go, all right, we're going to get you off of 160 milligrams of methadone, but we're going to do it on a rapid detox. Methadone is not something you rapid detox off of. Right?
Yeah, they didn't really. It was a new concept too. I kind of fell in a weird little window that they had. And, again, I've told this kind of story, not on such a big range, but, it sounds like there was a lot of darkness there, but there is too a lot of good things that happened in between. I met some people that I probably, would have never met, could have kind of went without the experience of meeting, having to meet but there's been good things in my life too. And there's continuing to have good things in my life, and not every day is easy. Every day. Yeah.
It's hard for people to wrap their dome around that, but you know something? If you didn't go down the road that we went down, and maybe you just made some other mistakes that have nothing to do with crime and they have nothing to do with drugs or whatever, you don't get an opportunity very often to glance into where your life is going to be for the rest of your existence if you don't make a serious freaking change. I mean, prison sucks and it's difficult to survive. And I mean, just listening to Will, that you don't have to necessarily do anything wrong. If they decide to move you right after you buy $80 worth of store that you can easily pay off on Tuesday, that's going to chase you to every yard you go to. There are just some dumb things that can happen to you where you break a rule that isn't written down anywhere, that no one ever explains to you, and then you spend the rest of your rip looking over your shoulder, right? It's a shit show all the way around. But
you
it gives you an
a
opportunity.
certain way. You could turn a certain way and knock something over, and it's completely like what?
That's the end of the world. Or walk through the wrong section by accident. I watched a guy come into federal prison the first day he was there, and the white guys were all sitting over by the white guy TV, and he walked through another race's section and went through the tables like this. Well, that is a rule that isn't written down anywhere, but it's either we now beat this guy up, right? We discipline him for what he just did, or they're going to, and we're going to get in a race riot. And they pulled this guy into a cell and beat him up. And he's like, 19 years old. And I'm just thinking, God help us, right? The guy's been in here 40 seconds. He doesn't know what the hell he's done. Same thing, same guy. Like 2 weeks later, he's walking around the tier because it was raining outside. So it was about 100-yard tier. If you walk the entire thing, it's 100 yards. So it's big up top on the top tier. And he walked by a cell where two guys just started to fight. You will look at two guys starting to fight. It is human nature. These guys are punching the crap out of each other. Yeah, you look, he's doing this one. He jammed on the brakes, dude, right there. And they call it dry snitching. Now the cop downstairs looks up on the tier because he heard a noise, and there's a guy staring into cell 103, right? And that guy he may as well have walked downstairs and said, they're fighting, right? Mm-hmm. It's considered the exact same thing. But nobody puts you on game for any of this. Yeah, they wait for you to break the rule. It's terrible. You're lucky you got out. You know that, right? I mean, for real. You know how many people don't? I mean, every day in America, they're carrying guys out in body bags, or they're permanently scarred. And I don't mean necessarily this way. I mean, inside. Right. There are people who walk out of prison that are just never going to be the same because of the things that they endured inside.
And I think that's what's good. What we're doing and what you're doing is just bringing to light of the people that never will go there, or if they're on their way there, or maybe by chance they'll catch this show of ours and they can see, like, it's just not a place where you want to go. It really isn't. People say always that same thing, and I feel that their words really fall short, but maybe pay attention to the pain in people's eyes or just their body language when they speak about coming from places like that. It should tell you everything.
And I'll tell you what, I can't tell you how many times I'll get an email and it'll say, the lifeboat got me on track, or the lifeboat saved my life, or the lifeboat got me to quit. And then you keep reading because you're feeling pretty good about yourself. You're like, yeah. And they're like, somebody made a comment in the comment section that I read and it changed my life. And in the beginning, I used to go, oh, damn. Now, to me, that's the coolest thing in the world, because the crew and everybody that comes together, when a student is ready, the teacher appears, right? It's a great, absolutely great quote. But when someone is ready, then whoever that teacher happens to be at that time, whoever pops up, mine was a black dude in a federal prison. Like, what are the odds of that, right? And I worked with him every day for a really, really long time. And we put up with a bunch of BS because of it. We weren't allowed to hang out. We weren't supposed to be sitting at the same table. We weren't supposed to be doing any of that stuff. And I did. And it caused a lot of shit. But there are going to be people that have been listening to me for years who are going to hear your story, and it's going to resonate with them in a way that mine doesn't. It can be age, it can be region of the country. You start spitting out the names of prisons that people have been at. You're gonna start talking about places, and they're like, oh man, I dodged that prison. I went to the jail, right? Or I've been there 4 times, 5 times, which means they're this close. I think that what you're getting ready to do is so much more important than you know. Could the mods put up a link to his channel again? I want all of you, and I mean it, all of you, to get over here and hit subscribe on this channel.
Yes, thank you. If I could add, I just need to get to 50. So I believe I'm about 12 short. So if I can get to 50, I can start going live, and I can start.
There's 55 of you. There's 55 of you here, right? Let's get 12 more so that you can start going live, because this kind of content, number one, it will turn you into a YouTuber. Going live is a whole lot different than doing anything else. And the beautiful thing is, people will show up in the chat that you've never heard of, you've never met, and they'll go, I want to get high. And you know what? You don't need a PhD. You need to have wanted to get high plenty of times in your life, because most of the people that they say that to will go, well, just don't do it. Ah, shit. Why didn't I think of that? Holy crap. Right. I should have done that 55 years ago. This would have been so much easier. Right? I mean, you really do have to have kind of been there and done that to have any of the to have any effect very often. Doesn't mean that somebody that has tons of book smarts and is a great therapist can't knock that out, because they do. but there are people that need to hear it from somebody that's been there, and you have a voice, and your heart shines through, which is something that you can't fake. And you can just about fake everything else, but your heart is going to either come through or it's not. I'm proud of you, bro. I'm proud of you more every day. And I just hope that you stay on the path that you're on, because you're killing it. And there's plenty more to talk about. There's so much more to this story. So I hope that you will come back. I'll go follow your channel next. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. We need 11 more. Just Joe, just subscribe. See, this isn't that hard, people. I'm proud of you.
Proud of you. Thank you guys so
we need
much.
12 more. You know what? Let's get a little insurance too. There's 50 of us here. Yeah, there's 50 of us here. Let's get a little insurance. You know, when I started, we had to get to 1,000 before we could go live. I can't tell you how many shows I did before I ended up being able to go live. I'm excited, and I'll tell you what. If you'd consider it, I'd like to go on your show when you go live, and you can ask me anything, and we'll go through some of my story on your show. I think that would be kind of cool. It usually sort of where I can bring over the boat, and it'll be a good kind of launch. So let's get into 50, and you guys can ask questions that I won't answer other places.
Let's do it.
Will, I love you like a brother. I mean it, and I can't wait to have you back on here. Look at all these people saying subs. That's what I'm talking about, people. Let's make the earth a better place than we leave.
Thank all of you, truly.
This is the kind of stuff. And smack the like button. We want to show the algorithm that when people put up content that actually deals with connection, that maybe it's worth pushing out. And, for the last 3 or 4 days, and I said, that it may not get pushed out, but if we got 24% engagement and they're not pushing it out, at least we proved that they're trying to kill things that are positive. 37 now. See, we're getting closer. We're getting closer. All right, get in there and nail this, people. And I promise you, I will thank you later. We'll stick around. I want to talk to you for a minute. But people, we're going to wrap this up. I will have Will on again. Fear not. And I will also tell you when he's going to have me over on his channel. And I'm going to try to get the link to his clothing company and to his channel in the bio down below. His clothing company is really cool. But for all of you, if you really want to see it, you should go over there and hit subscribe. Because if you don't, you've literally hurt my feelings. And I know you don't want to do that. Right?
We're in the beginning stages, so
that's how it starts. We just got the light ring, people. Like this is the lifeboat. This is Johnny Scoville just subbed. We're getting closer. Look at that.
I wanted to use this one. I was trying to actually bring it into the story, but I mean,
there you go. There you go. You'll do the. All right. Let's see if we can't cause 2 strokes. I have that on this one. I've never actually worked it in there. All right, people. Between now and the next time I see you, get over there and hit subscribe to my man's channel. I love you guys. We'll see you on the next one. God bless. Stick around, Will.